maybe something else sucks around here, like the public. Yeah, the public sucks. There's a nice campaign slogan for somebody. The public sucks. Fuck hope. Fuck hope. Because if it's really just the fault of these politicians, then where are all the other bright people of conscience? Where are all the bright, honest, intelligent Americans ready to step in and save the nation and lead the way? We don't have people like that in this country. Everybody's at the mall, scratching his ass, picking his nose, taking his credit card out of his fanny pack and buying a pair of sneakers with lights in them. So I have solved this little political dilemma for myself in a very simple way. On election day, I stay home. I don't vote. Fuck them. Fuck them. I don't vote. Two reasons I don't vote. First of all, it's meaningless. This country was bought and sold and paid for a long time ago. The shit they shuffle around every 4 years doesn't mean a fucking thing. And secondly, I don't vote because I believe if you vote, you have no right to complain. People like to twist that around. I know they say, well, if you don't vote, you have no right to complain. But where's the logic in that? If you vote and you elect dishonest, incompetent people, and they get into office and screw everything up, well, you are responsible for what they have done. You caused the problem. You voted them in. You have no right to complain. I, on the other hand, who did not vote, who, in fact, did not even leave the house on election day, and in no way responsible for what these people have done, and have every right to complain as loud as they want about the mess you created that I had nothing to do with. So I know that a little later on this year, you're going to have another one of those really swell presidential elections that you like so much. You'll enjoy yourselves. It'll be a lot of fun. I'm sure as soon as the election is over, your country will improve immediately. As for me, I'll be home on that day doing essentially the same thing as you. The only difference is when I get finished masturbating, I'm going to have a little something to show for it, folks. Thank you.
Good old George Carlin.
He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT.
Outside the box point of view. If anybody wants to come up and talk, that'd be great. If not, we'll probably do like 20 minutes more clips and end it. That'll be fine. Got no problem with that. So before we move on, JCC plans for the weekend?
Oh, just winging it, man. Just do whatever happens.
Just winging it. Oh, good. Someone wants to come up. Someone's going to save us. Thank you. Love to hear other points of view, other people speaking.
Just no point of view. Just reminded me that when I lived in L.A. when I was young, I worked at because of George Carlin. You were talking about him. I worked at a place called Music Odyssey on Wilshire Boulevard. We sold records.
I used to have an office right next door to Music Odyssey. It was right there by the McDonald's, Wilshire Boulevard by Bundy. Yes, I know exactly where you're talking about.
Well, I lived at the Barrington Plaza, which was that big, on the corner of Barrington and Wilshire, that big, huge apartment building. Anyway, so I worked at Music Odyssey after working in Westwood at another record store. And I sold rolling papers to George Carlin. It's one of the highlights of my life. And in about 1970.
How about that? I didn't know he lived in L.A. Then again, I didn't know where he lived.
He lived in Brentwood, across the street from some friends of mine, actually. Over by Pally High, if you know where that is.
That's great. That's great.
Anyway, just because you had brought up George Carlin, I thought I'd give you that little...
I really appreciate that. Thanks for that little tidbit. Feel free to stay on stage, mute up. Maybe something else will key your memory. If you're in the audience and want to come up, please do. George Carlin was always my favorite. When I was in my teenage years, I used to memorize his routines. I just love them so much. Something else that I loved, of course, was HBO, the newsroom,
so what is,
talking about news and talking about the public interest. This is from HBO, the newsroom. It's entitled The Realist versus the Idealist. Check it out.
There's nothing that's more important in a democracy than a well-informed electorate.
I just want to make sure you know you're still on this side of the door.
When there's no information, or much worse, wrong information, it can lead to calamitous decisions and clobber any attempts at vigorous debate. That's why I produce the news.
We're all grateful to you.
You're spinning out of control.
No, I'm not.
You're terrified you're going to lose your audience, and you do anything to get them back. You're one pitch meeting away from doing the news in 3D.
This isn't nonprofit theater. It's advertiser-supported television. You know that, right?
I'd rather do a good show for 100 people than a bad one for 1 million, if that's what you're saying.
What is it you're talking to me about right now?
I've come here to produce a news broadcast that more closely resembles the one we did before you got popular by not bothering anyone. Leno.
I think Jay and I would rather be employed if it's all the same to you.
It's not all the same to me, you punk. I've come here to take your IQ and your talent and put it to some patriotic fucking use. And where does it say that a good news show can't be popular?
Nielsen ratings.
We're going to do a good news show and make it popular at the same time.
That is impossible.
Between your brains, charm, looks, and affability, and my
refusal to live in reality. It's impossible, man. Social scientists have concluded that the country is more polarized than at any time since the Civil War. The Civil War.
Yes, people choose the news they want now, but we
People
overcome
choose the
that.
facts they want now. So what you've just described is impossible.
Only if you think an overwhelming majority of Americans are preternaturally stupid.
I do.
I don't. And if you let me, I can prove it. You know what you left out of your sermon? That America is the only country on the planet that since its birth has said over and over and over that we can do better. It's part of our DNA. People will want the news if you give it to them with integrity. Not everybody, not even a lot of people. 5%. And 5% more of anything is what makes the difference in this country. So we can do better.
And yeah, that's absolutely true. Most elections are won by the 5%. Normally 90 to 95% vote. It's split, and it's the 5%, the swing vote, most of the time, that decides most elections. And if you want to come on up, please do. Otherwise, I got one more clip that's ready to go, and that's all the clips that I have. And if nobody wants to talk, we can go ahead and play it. Okay. We mentioned George Carlin, 7 words you can never say on television, and how he won his Supreme Court case. If memory serves correct, it was regarding a radio station that played the bit after 10 o'clock at night and said the word fuck on the airwaves. And here's George Carlin on the Tonight Show. Here's George Carlin on the Tonight Show.
Carlin.
Smoking the set again, Nico.
That's right. Right on. Can't give it up.
Thank you, though, for that. Showing the album on a show like this is, for all.
Oops, sorry about that. You got those YouTube advertisements. What a pain in the ass. Let's see. And we'll get back to it right now.
Does that really help? Really help when you hold up the album and do that?
Yeah, this show, in fact, is known more so than any of the others that there have been and have gone away to.
I think it's because of the way I hold the album. Some of the fellows say, here it is, and other guys get to do this, but I hold an album nicely.
Yeah.
I think that probably has more to do with anything else. The way I hold it.
These lights shining directly on it is often good too. So at home they're like that.
That's right. You want to get the key light, so they.
Well,
Now, George, you must promise me something. You won't get me in any trouble on the show tonight, because I've been reading about your problems in Milwaukee, and they busted you there, or tried to bust you, or there's a court case pending.
Right.
Because, and I don't want to jeopardize the case, so I have to be careful the words I use, I guess.
Right.
You allegedly, let me put it that way, used some words in your act which brought about a bust, saying that you were, what was the technical language in the...
Oh, it was disorderly conduct - profanity, as opposed, I guess, to disorderly conduct drunk, disorderly conduct something else. The state didn't want to have anything to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't want to prosecute it because you're covered by the First Amendment and freedom of speech. The city did, however, follow. There was one policeman at this summer fest. There were about anywhere from 35 to 55,000 people present. It's a piece of material, quote unquote, that I've done everywhere.
No, I'm
You know,
familiar with
I
I know the
mean,
materials.
at good places, at bad places, at colleges, at religious colleges. And it's about the 7 words you can't say on television,
Right.
which list I have amended since then. Folks have been reminding me of others.
Their own little words that they have.
It's up to about 11 now. But the point is, it's a satirical look at language taboo.
Right.
And I use the words, of course. without
Basically,
being
the words are having to do with various, usually terms, euphemistic terms for sexual intercourse or certain objects or parts of the body, and etc. That's
right.
basically what it is. Which everybody uses more or less. I shouldn't say everybody. Now I'll probably get letters saying we never use that
Well,
language. We're endorsing it.
I told the policeman that night, our fighting men have used these words for years and years.
All right, we got another speaker. Hey, how you doing? Sheik, I believe it's called. Sheik.
Hey, how's it going? I see
Hi,
you guys.
Sheik. Have we spoken before?
I think we have.
It's a pleasure to talk to you again. Yeah, I'm glad you're here.
Can you show me proof that communism exists? I mean, atheism?
Well, wait a minute. First you said communism and then atheism. So do you mean one, the other, or both?
Atheism.
Can I show you proof that atheism exists? Well, let me before I address that, let me take a poll. JCC, this is the critical thinking after party. Should we be discussing that, which we normally discuss on the weekends? What do you think, JCC?
That's in your court. I think it's, yeah, see, he's not going to hang around, so.
Oh, okay. Tell you what, everybody. For those of you that don't know, I do the Ask the Atheist show every Sunday for the past 4 years, and so everybody is welcome to come on in Sunday, and then we can spend hours talking about it. Or we can do it Saturday on Ask Uncle. I don't think it's appropriate to do on the critical thinking after party. I think we should keep to the topic or the topics that are discussed in critical thinking, and it's been about the First Amendment and about the president and government intervening in the First Amendment and Charlie Kirk earlier in the year. So I'm going to say no questions today about atheism, but if you want to come back tomorrow or Sunday, that would be great. Sheik, did you want to talk about anything else that was discussed in the critical thinking of forum in the past couple of days, or only atheism?
Well, if you can respect the atheism talk, but the forum I wanted to ask about was,
Yes.
why do atheist people have a small penis?
Again, you should probably come back on the weekend and discuss that on the weekend. And talking about penis sizes is not really appropriate for the critical thinking after party either. Although I'd love to talk to you about it on the weekend. So I'm moving you down to the audience. Please come back on. Ask me that tomorrow, and I'd be happy to talk about the size of your penis. Let's go to Les. Les, hi. Good afternoon.
Howdy.
Hi.
Well, thank you for livening up the room a
Absolutely.
second ago. So it was interesting. Ted Cruz, who I never agree with, I think said it very well that I think they really need to get rid of the FCC commissioner because he doesn't seem to
Someone
understand.
suggested yesterday on the critical thinking getting rid of the FCC altogether and that we don't need them. I think, is that right?
Yeah, but that's not what I'm suggesting.
No. Yeah, you're talking about getting rid of the guy who's in charge of the FCC right now.
No, in other words, if you're all for violating the First Amendment by pressing, using government to suppress viewpoints, what are the?
Wait, are you talking about the First Amendment or the Fairness Doctrine? What are you talking about?
The First Amendment, the one that, you know what the First
Who's in
Amendment is.
favor of getting rid of the First Amendment?
Well, I'm talking about violating the First Amendment.
Who's in favor of violating the First Amendment?
The FCC commissioner said, gave what Ted Cruz called, and I agree, the mafia kind of thing. we're just getting started in terms of,
Okay.
putting pressure on broadcast companies to not say bad things about the administration or people that they like.
All right. Go ahead.
So my question is, can Congress recall somebody, or is there some sort of impeachment thing? And
You mean for a cabinet appointed position that had to go through the Senate? Or do you just mean like a position appointed by the administration?
Well, how about if we start, since we're referring to him, how about if we first start about Brendan Carr, who was in charge of the FCC? He was appointed by Trump. And go ahead, Marshall. What would it take to remove him as FCC chairman?
Well, I just wanted to know if Brandon Carr's appointment had to go through the Senate or not.
Absolutely.
Then the Senate has the right to intervene. The Senate can tell the FCC to knock it off.
Yeah, I believe they had to approve him by 51% or more.
Correct.
And I can do the heavy lifting on that, but it is Brendan Carr. By the way, Brendan Carr has been with the FCC for over 12 years. He also wrote a paragraph in Project 2025, and he's now chairman of the FCC. And of course, he's the one that allegedly, I believe it's true, brought pressure to bear to get Jimmy Kimmel removed. JCC or Marshall, if you guys want to just look up on Google or whatever, what would it take to remove Brendan Carr as the FCC? But I think Marshall is right. It would take a vote of the Senate or Congress jointly by 51%. I'm not certain. But this is not a case like Pete Hegseth or whatever, where he's not qualified. He was an FCC commissioner for 12 years, so he's clearly qualified.
So I looked
now.
it up.
Yes,
it is very difficult for president to remove the FCC. Remove the head of the FCC because the agency is designed to be politically independent. A president can only remove a sitting FCC commissioner, including the chair, for specific statutory reasons such as inefficiency, negligent of duty, or malfeasance in office. So it has to be those three things for the FCC head to be removed.
And if he indeed did, and I'm not saying he did, violated the Constitution by bringing pressure to bear to get Kimmel removed, that clearly would be a justifiable reason if indeed that was the case.
Under my interpretation of that, yes.
Yeah. If bringing that pressure to bear that he brought was a constitutional amendment, a constitutional violation, I don't know if it was. He said, in the public interest, the FCC's response is responsible to act in the public's best interest. And you'll notice that in his public statement, he used those two words, public interest. Was it against the public interest for Jimmy Kimmel to say what he did? I've been saying all along that this was just an excuse, that ABC's been looking to get rid of Jimmy Kimmel, and because late night programming is slowly but surely been going downhill as far as ratings and revenue, etc. I think this is just an excuse. I really don't think what he actually said was the main reason, but that's just my humble opinion.
I have a take on this.
Yeah, please, Abby. Love to hear it.
So let's go back in time to the New Deal in 1934, when the Federal Communications Act was first brought in, which is a very typical